my name is Dawn H. Jones, and today in this video I'll be giving a general overview of the potential outcomes from a disciplinary hearing, including referral of employees to professional bodies and also to the Disclosure and Barring Service, better known as DBS. Now, as always, please ensure that you read and follow your organisation's disciplinary policy and procedure for specific as it relates to you. Okay, let's look at the potential outcomes of a disciplinary hearing, and we are going to kick off with no action. So a finding of no action may arise, for example, when a case is unfounded, or there is no case to answer, or indeed there may be exceptional or mitigating circumstances. Now, in the event of a no action, a finding of no action, records of the investigation are generally removed from the employee's file, except in extraordinary circumstances. Now, another potential finding is where further investigation is needed, for example, and a hearing manager may consider that they require further evidence from the investigating manager before arriving at their final decision. And in this instance, the hearing will be adjourned and then reconvened once the hearing manager has considered the additional information from the investigation manager. The next one is informal action. Now, typically, informal action is for instances of minor misconduct. Potential outcomes may include an advisory discussion, training, or supervision. A verbal warning is more serious than informal action, and a verbal warning may be issued to an employee for minor misconduct. However, even though an employee receives a verbal warning, the allegation and sanction details must be written and include appeal arrangements. A written warning is more severe than a verbal warning and will most likely stay on an employee's file longer than a verbal warning. And again, the employee should receive written details of the sanction and the appeal arrangements. Even more serious is a final written warning, and a final written warning is for serious misconduct. So a hearing chair may decide to give a written warning as an alternative to dismissal. An employee may also receive a final written warning if they fail to improve their conduct following a previous, usually live warning, and again, an employee would have the right to appeal. And then we have dismissal, and dismissal is for conduct that is so serious there is no alternative to dismissing an employee from their position. And depending on the circumstances, an employee can dismiss an employee with or without notice. And again, the employee should set out the appeal arrangements, the sanction details in the outcome letter. Then last but not least, we have dismissal and re-engagement. Now, an employee may be offered a different position as an alternative to dismissal. However, it's important to note that other terms and conditions may apply. So, for example, there may be a lower rate of pay. So, employee will need to pay attention to that. If the employee does not accept alternative employment, they are dismissed per relevant notice period. Now, it's important to note that disciplinary sanctions remain on the employee's file for designated periods per the employee's policy. So, those are the potential outcomes from a disciplinary hearing, from no action to dismissal and re-engagement. For some employees, however, there may be additional implications, and that leads us on to referral to professional bodies. For employees who work in regulated professions such as teaching, nursing, medicine, law, dentistry, and so on, depending on the disciplinary hearing outcome and the nature of the allegations, an employer may deem it necessary, or indeed they may be bound to refer an employee's conduct to their relevant professional bodies. And last but not least, referral to Disclosure and Barring Services. Now, according to the .gov.uk website, referrals should be made to DBS when an employer or organisation believes a person has caused harm or poses a future risk of harm to vulnerable groups, including children. So, as you heard in the video today, potential outcomes from a disciplinary hearing can range from no action to extremely serious outcomes, including referral to professional bodies and DBS, and indeed can be career limited. So pay attention to what's in your disciplinary policy and procedures. Thank you for listening, and see you next week. Bye-bye.